Welcome everyone to another episode of Adventures into Reality. We are once again with my intrepid co-host Debbie. Today we are going to be talking about dreams and everything in between dreams. And part of the Adventures in Reality show is to help people really get a deeper grasp on some of the material we go over. And Debbie and I have spent part of the day today talking about dream times and dream world. And so Debbie has a list of questions. We're going to be talking about dream time and dream world. And then we're going to have our normal show where we talk about dream time and dream world. But this coming week that we have next week, Tuesdays and Fridays, we are going to be having a continuing soliloquy and questions on specifically on dream times. So we'd like people to pay attention to this show and use this show as a moment to study some of the material we have. So Debbie, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Andrew. It's really good to be back and good to connect again.
And good to connect to you too. And for everyone that's out there, we are having a roll with some of the shows we've had. And this last show we had this past time was absolutely amazing. And that was, letting go of the baggage and moving on and letting the winter be the winter and the summer be the summer. That
was a really good show. And I felt that it really touched my heart, and it was very inspiring, Andrew.
So, Debbie, why don't we read the questions that we're going to be doing, and we're going to go deep into the dream world.
Okay. The first question is, what is Dreamtime's full potential globally and interdimensionally? And also, I'd like to hear about the description of the scales that go with that. And the number 2, can we connect in dream time to future selves and dimensional to co-create with Earth dreams? And number 3 is, how can we utilize dream time to break free from the matrix? I thought that was a really good one. And number 4 is, can we use it to heal ourselves and the Earth? Number 5, is there a specific time that is more conducive for us to utilize dream time? And number 6 is, how does the collective consciousness affect our dream time? And number 7 is, how can we be controlled through our dream time by other entities or through the matrix? And number 7 is something that I'd like to know, and I'm sure our viewers would really like to know this. Could you be able to give us a step-by-step protocol? How to work with dream time?
And the answer is to all those is yes, we can talk about dream time and dream world and everything that's around and all that. So everyone, put your seat backs and your tray tables in the upright position as we get ready for an adventure into reality. So Debbie, we're delving deep into that dream world. We're going to nurture all of the wonderful concepts that it takes to understand dream. We're going to learn how to tell our own stories in the dream so we can hear our own stories and we aren't separated from the world that's taking our stories away. And for those that are women this lifetime, you also have another type of special dream world called your sacred dream womb space, where all of the children you've dreamed with, you can dream with. And for men that are men this lifetime, you were a woman another lifetime. And you have that same direct link to the womb that you were born in, or the womb that you were giving birth to in other lifetimes. So I'd like people to just take a moment and relax and understand dreams are infinite. And these questions that we are translating into finite English to have us our own infinite expression are a way to understand how we can begin to come to action of self-expression, the action of self-nurturing, the action of self-reliance, so we aren't carrying the burdens of life during our daily action. And when we go to sleep, we don't have those burdens going into our dream world, keeping us separate. So Debbie, let's hit us with that first question.
So what is Dreamtime's full potential globally and interdimensionally?
Freedom. Absolute freedom on all levels of existence. It is where your pure creation is. Dream time, in one word, Dreamtime, no hyphen, dream time, represents a Australian Aborigine expression of the place where we dream, in a moment where we are in no time, and yet we are connected to the storytellers of those dreams. Because those dreamers of a long, long time ago created a dream world in which their present ancestors could join and create. So the potential of dream time in the global dream time is how we come together in the dreams where we already have our spiritual courts of equity or whatever defines us as sovereign beings in full control of our life and our dream world, not giving away life via tacit consent. Once we are off of the nipple of domination and control, we must reinvest our force into something else. And that something else is dream time. When we were young and we had young dreams, we had great, wonderful, powerful young dreams that reminded us how full of life we were. Or there are those people that remember flying through their dreams, going to different worlds and meeting different races. And then there are others who had intensely passionate dreams. So when it comes to the global dream time, that is the unity consciousness version of yourself in the ancient future who is in understanding and knowingness of who they were in the ancient present now and has the willingness to directly connect to the ancient present now that may be in the ancient present now dream time or the ancient present now 3D matrix time. And when that ancient future self dreams into the ancient present time and we choose to have ancient present and ancient future connection, we are in dream time, where our ancestors of ourselves are in communion with exchange of information and light body wisdom. And when that happens, we create a dream realm. Your DNA skin suit has its own dream realm that comes with that which your mother and father created, and your mother and father created, and your mother and father created before that. When we dream alone, but we also can dream with our family. We can also dream with the world, the global unity consciousness. We hear that word all the time, global unity consciousness. It is also a way to translate another term into global unity dream time, where our ancient future selves have come to the ancient present now and have decided in sovereign expression to show us through being 1 second in the future to us, waiting for any questions and any answers that we might need. And they're there to provide that because they've already lived through the ancient future and have the ancient future memories in your present now, so that in the dream world, the instant manifestation of knowledge and wisdom transfers over into the I am presence now, who's yawning and waking up and going through that first 10 minutes of life and making a choice not to worry about pay the bills, making a choice to not be 5 minutes late to work or be 25 minutes early to work, making a choice to stay in the dream and let it integrate into all parts of your body. Why? Because the body is a part of that experience in your ancient future. And you must honor that body as a part of that dream experience. And this is one of the main reasons why so many people are disconnected from their dream worlds. Because the body has gone through so much psychic torture or abuse or physical or mental abuse in the matrix world that it is full of dense energies and dense programs that prevents the dreaming body from sharing the infinite innocent wisdom with a finite being who may be in polarity as soon as they wake up. Because the programs in the body are forcing you to be in shame, blame, or guilt when you wake up, because that is the energy environment that you live in. When the dreamer dreaming this dream, knowing that you are the ancient dream and the ancient past dream and the ancient future dream all combined into one in this I am presence who will awaken the sleep, you take control of your dream space, which is your bed, and in your bed you create the most basic form of sacred space. And in that sacred space is where you can co-create with your own dreamer or your ancient future self that is now charting a path to reverse engineer higher consciousness and hierarchical order. When we now declare our apex in the hierarchical order, our ancient future self has a direct bearing on us, a heading, and two freight trains of consciousness will intercede in love in the dream world. And that can lead into a dreamtime visitation. And that dreamtime visitation can be your direct self, your ancient ancestors, your present ancestors, your deep future past ancestors. The land that you live on is the ancestors. And if you come from a place and come to a new place that you have no ancestral energy to, you're going to be in the negative. You're going to be taking ancestral debt of that area on, because that's the way soul commerce works. We're all exchanging energy in the dream world and in the physical world. Dream time is in that one world, and then dreaming. When we are dreaming, we are our individual self. But we can go to many different scales of expression when it comes to dreaming.
So Andrew, you're talking about our future selves. I was just also wondering about our multidimensional selves. Can we use that to co-create with the Earth's dream?
Oh, absolutely. Well, let's look at a metaphorical concept of a person that believes themselves to be an earth grid worker. So that person in metaphor figures out where the ley lines of the earth are, the sacred spaces are, and then begins to pray for those places and send healing energies to those places. And then there are others that create intricate missions of energetic release for those places, which involves them physically going there, spiritually going there, and when they return, they release a lot of energy by bringing it home with them, so on and so forth. When we want to work with the Earth Global Dreamtime, we must be connected to the winds, and we must understand the weather. The current weather that we have is our uncollective consciousness trying to create collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness, which is our ancient future selves 1 second in the future for us now, that is the collective trying to reverse engineer the uncollective. They're trying to come together in that yin-yang format so that Earth is in total harmony, so that the global weather patterns that we experience now are not a shared global weather experience. Each local bubble of reality can have their own global weather experience or their own internal weather experience. And in the ancient days, that is the way that it was until these realities came under the Roman numeral clock that defined time, that defined the seasons, that defined the oceans, waves, and tides, and all the rhythms and patterns of Earth. When we unwind what is Roman time and their rhythms and patterns of Earth and return to our own time in no time, we get to create in dream time all of the weather patterns we need. And to dream with Earth itself, we go to the Aurora Borealis. I have said this through many different conversations. In the North Pole, Aurora Borealis, you have energy that comes from the sun. We can go back to some of the scientific mechanics of it. The solar wind interacts with the electromagnetic field that collects particles. Those particles are life force energy. And when they begin to create streamers, that is pathways to other dream worlds. Just like in the deep inner earth, the space between atoms is the hollow earth. The space between particles of the sun that are interacting in the Aurora Borealis is the place of the ancestral dream worlds, dream realms. It is where the dragons live. It is where the ancient species that are long since past live. It is where many powerful interdimensional beings of dreamtime live. They live there to service ancestral energies, whether it be the coming of age ancestral energy, the rites of passage, the raising of children, the 13 grandfathers, the 13 grandmothers that teach us who we are as human beings deep to our core from our original historical point. Or if it's that time where we are looking for the great lover of our future, that is where we find that, in the North Pole, Aurora Borealis. When one takes the time to visualize the Aurora Borealis in all its beautiful wonder and actually can create powerful generating images in their own mind without resistance in their own mind, and allows their mind to enter delta sleep and theta sleep. Doesn't matter which one first. You get the opportunity to project your photovoltaic mind, okay, your photo light mind, as it's falling asleep, giving directions to the tops of our world. How hard is that to find for one being on a globe to go to the top of the world?
Well, Andrew, that's really inspiring to, I know you've mentioned the Borealis once before, and it was encouraging people to actually go to sleep focusing on that. So now I can really see the reasons why it's so helpful to us.
Alternatively, we have the South Pole, also has its own expression of Aurora Borealis. In the South Pole is the astral world, all of those beings waiting to be born on Earth. So we have an understanding, the ancestral realms, those that are choosing to stay as ancestors and not in a process of creating contracts and plans, they go to the South Pole. And there's a whole different layer of realms there. And this is a different kind of visitation dream we can get. Astral dreaming and astral travel can be considered very similar. When we, as individual beings and beings in the I Am Presence dream world, go to our North Pole, and then we understand we can simultaneously exist in the South Pole, we learn how to create two dreams at once. And that is something that's going to be critical to each individual person's worlds, dreams, awakenings, coming of age, rites of passage, and everything in between, because you'll be going through the greatest process of giving your intent to your ancestors, past and future. And once you've given them an intent, you've showed them the prayer smoke that's come out of you in the ancient present that's in the dream world, they can understand you without you having to use this English anymore.
So, Andrew, can we also use that to heal ourselves?
Yes, we can. To heal oneself with the dream world means you've taken over your sacred space where you dream, where you sleep. So to heal your dream world is to heal your physical world, and to heal your physical world is to heal your dream world. They're all one and the same. When we choose to understand our beliefs of what dreams can be, we can heal our physical world. I'm sure you've gone to sleep one night and woke up from a dream that made you giggly and happy when you woke up, and for the rest of your day you were bubbly and happy.
Yes, I have had that experience, actually.
Yeah, just about everyone in the world has had that experience.
Yeah.
And there are those that long to have that dream more and more and more. What's stopping us from giving ourselves the earned right for that? Belief. Belief, that's the only thing stopping us. When you allow yourself to say, I have earned the right every day I go to sleep to wake up happy and joyful, to have a dream where I could wake up laughing my butt off from the universal joke or whatever was going on, the grand dream humor, and you literally wake up to your own self laughing. We've also earned that right. And when we tell our body, mind, spirit, and journey into this place and time, we've earned these rights, and we demand that that be there, and we remove all other influencing entities from the place that we sleep. We declare our sacred space. We have all of our regular ceremonies monthly. We've earned it. So each day you wake up and you're wondering why you haven't had all of those dreams. Each day you wonder, that's the healing. What does it take to get there? What does it take to do a math problem in 5th grade with a smile on your face? I could tell you a lot of kids, there's only a handful of them that do that math problem with a smile, and those are the mathies. Someone asked you, are you a dreamy instead of a mathy? No matter how hard the problem is, they're still doing smiles at it because they love math. Do you love dreams that much that you can figure out what it takes to own your heart space when you go to sleep? And when you wake up, you owned your heart space enough to allow that dream world to connect to both open heart spaces from both times, so the infinite dream world's connected to you and you have that joyous awakening? What does it take for people to apply that, the conscious application of the sacred, to your own space?
Okay, so I'm just wondering also, with one of the questions here, is there a specific time that's more conducive for us to go into dream time? and to utilize it?
Oh yeah. One of the things about dreams is we get tired. And when we get tired, we go to sleep. And once we go to sleep, the body turns off and goes through a series of processes where you go through sleep paralysis. Once you are in sleep paralysis, about 30, 40 to 90 minutes, in some scenarios 2 hours, you will begin to dream. There are many, many, many people that when they go to sleep, within 15 or 18 minutes, they believe they're dreaming, when in fact you aren't. You are in the inconsequential dream world, where the consciousness and subconsciousness are still debating if you are going to go into delta and stay in sleep paralysis. When you go into sleep paralysis, there's a release of a chemical that causes your body to unable to be able to move. Like, you cannot be in dream time without being in sleep paralysis. Debbie, have you ever woke up and your body is so heavy and it can barely move, or you ever been in a dream where literally your body can't move?
I have, and I've always wondered what caused that. You know, I've sort of woken up like
Actual process. Yeah, it's an actual process medical science knows of. Sleep paralysis. You can't dream without it, but there are people that dream without it because their body is skipping some of the mechanics that it requires to release their dreaming body. And the photonic light part that's our mind and heart is mimicking a dreaming body. It's more like you are remote viewing the dream instead of sending your dreaming body to it. And this is what many, many people in the deep cities, in the heavy-duty cities, are dreaming every day. They're more remote viewing their own dream in a third person than they are actually there. So coming to an understanding of what a real dream is versus the remote viewing of a dream that can be easily influenced by other things in your environment, whether it's the person laying next to you in your sleep and they're snoring or talking in their sleep, or if that person's just pissed off and angry at someone else and you go to sleep next to them and your world's entangled with them. Allowing our... Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I know on a couple of occasions, you know, when my husband starts to snore, and I'll poke him and I'll say, you know, you're snoring, and he goes, no, I wasn't even asleep.
Right. I've had that same experience. I'm totally, fully, 100% aware, and I know, and people around me are like, you're snoring. I mean, when I snored when I was a kid coming home from the hospital, so I've endured those stories for a long time. I know I snore, and I've gone through the same thing. And that is another example where you are remote viewing the dream world. You're not. It's like putting your toe in the cold water.
Yeah, well, I just thought he was just trying to find an excuse to say that he wasn't, you know, snoring or something.
Well, he was occupying himself, both here and now. He was in the silence between two worlds and didn't hear his own snoring.
Oh, right.
That's a good thing. The silence between two worlds is where you calibrate so you can create your own dream space.
So is that like lucid dreaming?
Yeah, it is, but you're not doing anything. All the mechanics are there, but you're literally not doing anything. You're just observing your own environment with your ears. Your eyeballs could be coming out of your ears. Your senses might get a little screwy because you have the first thalamus release of some of the chemicals that are in creating sleep. Or your body, your physical body may be going, he's not asleep. Do I turn on the sleep program or not? And it'll wait for the mind or the heart to activate the delta stage. And once you're in the delta state, you go through REM sleep. That's where you're doing the most and the most and the most. There are people that have, sleep apnea, where they begin to choke during their sleep, or their throat closes up in their sleep. And many of them can have 4, 5, 6 interruptions per hour, and in some cases, 3 interruptions per minute while they're sleeping. And that's forcing them out of their dream space, and that's their body trying to take direct back control over their dream world so that they remote view their dream instead of actually being there, because it takes too much energy out of the body to sustain hardcore dreaming experiences that create healing. Why? Because we must reserve our energy for our dreaming. And sometimes you just have to remote view your dream world for a few weeks and save your energy so you can have an experience where you wake up joyful and happy. And then from that point, you get serious What does it take for me to wake up happy? What does it take for me to remember 10 minutes of my dream? What does it take for me before I go to sleep and when I wake up to know what I'm doing in that infinite dream world in between? What does it take? It takes action. It takes knowledge. It takes the ability to have the experience and own that experience. We have ideas and needs that are manifested every single day when we're in business or we're in life. And we can do the same thing in our dream world. We just must allow ourselves to come to the wisdom and gratitude in ourselves that we've earned that right.
Right, Andrew, I just have a personal question to ask.
Okay.
My husband complains about me talking in my sleep a lot. So I'm just wondering if I'm just getting too active in my dream time and it's actually coming out in my physical at the same time.
Metaphor again. We've all seen the dog chase the rabbit in their dream. And how do we know it's a rabbit? Because he's running. And it's not a rabbit, it's a bird. It's something else, and we just know. When human beings are talking in their sleep, it's a little different. It is not just a dog in the infinite dream world going, hey, there's my rabbit, and I'm having fun, and I'm going to wake up and know I got a rabbit in my dream world. We human beings don't remember that part. When you are dreaming and you're talking in your sleep, in most scenarios, I will use a general percentage way to describe it that I've encountered in the many thousands of sessions that I've done privately with people. 30% of dreams, when they're talking in your sleep itself, is you are trying to heal the person next to you. If there's no person next to you, how do you know you're talking in your sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah,
Second, right, so that's 30%. Another 40% of those dreams is the person that's sleeping next to you is healed enough, and you're trying to heal yourself, and your subconscious has come to the surface during sleep paralysis and unparalyzed your throat so the body can be an experiencing of the dream world even though the mind will never remember it because it's in sleep. It's like that steam valve, so the body gets the healing, and if there is a witness next to you that hears it, it changes. When one is alone, you don't know if you're dreaming in your if you're talking in your sleep. There are some people that wake up with the pool of drool next to their pillow. You're pretty much guaranteed you were talking in your sleep when there's drool there.
Okay.
So the final 30% when you're talking in your sleep is entities in the dream world, sometimes doing good, sometimes doing bad. It's a general description. It isn't necessarily polarity. It could just be literally to try to wake you up so you're on time for work. And you hear yourself talking, which triggers the sleep paralysis to turn off.
What about, Andrew, the dreams that you dream that you get up, that you're awake, you get up, and you're doing exactly all, running to an appointment that you knew that you're going to, and all that sort of thing, and then you wake up, and then you've got to relive all of that. What is that?
Most of those are false dreams that are trying to prevent you from spending a lot of energy to have a really regenerative dream. That's the body going, here's the middle finger, no dream for you, you're screwed up. Maybe you'll think it's deja vu, the body doesn't care. Oftentimes the body believes it's the soul and the experience, and that the soul is there to experience the body. No, it doesn't work that way. In dreams, when we wake up early for appointments and we go to these appointments, if they don't tell you every little damn detail, it's not a prophetic dream. It is just your subconscious going, I'm the commander general, here's your schedule, wake up now, do this my way, conform, conform, conform.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, I've got a really good question for you here. How can we utilize the dream time to break free from the matrix?
How can we utilize the dream time to break free from the matrix? Well, once we come to an understanding of the scales of dreaming and that we require sacred space to make dreams, we can do great and powerful things to change ourselves, to change the world, to change the consciousness of humanity as this one little pebble we're throwing into the world of dreamtime. To do great healings with dreams, to do all of that, we must allow ourselves to just have the energy. And once you have that usable energy, you have to have an architected plan. You can jump around in your mind and do this and do that and do this and do that. But this I am presence can make an architected plan with that usable and available energy you have right when you wake up or right before you go to sleep, or you're going to have to choose to do a daytime dream meditation so you can recover. Once you do all that, you create a bank of your own energy so that you can have more and more powerful dream spaces and more and powerful dream times. It comes to the next understanding that we have hours of power in our life. Our times that we are our greatest energy. For me, it's the mid-afternoon, and sometimes it's early morning. But most of my time, 3 to 4 o'clock, when I'm getting my second wind or my highest volume of energies from once I woke up. And there are other people, their energy field is high and active at 3 o'clock in the morning, but that's when they're sleeping and they're at their least amount of physical action. So we must come to that journey of where is my most energy in this being of the now? What are my cycles? So I can create a ritual of joy during my hour of power. The ritual of joy is being happy, doing what you like in your hour of power, being that spiritual person, saying the contract revelations out loud, not being asleep, but being awake for that hour of power. And in that hour of power, identify 12 hours from now, I'll be in my weakest energy state. And I will be dreaming then. I now know my cycle and movement of my awake to asleep self. By having that scale, that understanding, from day to night, from awake to highest power to asleep, at that moment of the highest power we identify in ourselves, we can connect to our future dreaming self. And then we can create a way for us, this physical being, who will in a few hours be going to dream world. We can focus on that time where you're going to bed, and we can send ourselves energy from the hour of power. We can show ourselves the great sunlight and connect that into our physical body, so when we go into sleep paralysis, the closed eyes that are looking up at the great sun in that hour of power turn on the third eye, and the third eye works like this great solar illuminating collecting thing that just brings sun energy deep into you. So you can go to the aurora borealis and you can begin to illuminate yourself because you are particles of the sun. You came from the sun. We are beings of the sun who have chosen to have an experience here on the earth in the fetus of the two-legged human. Dream time, dream world, and how we change it is just the energy we choose to use. And when we use that energy, we have passion. We have spontaneity. We have that great, powerful fire medicine in which we can alchemize the great wonders of the universe, where we can take teachings of this physical world and convert them to the dream world. One of the things and techniques that I've talked about is people to learn what an astrolabe is. An astrolabe tells you where you are on a 3D globe of the world. It can show you the patterns of the seasons and the movement of the stars, so you can get a dead reckoning of where you are, even if you have no idea where in the world that you're at. With that simple device, you can triangulate where you are and create a course to somewhere you will be. And our parasympathetic bodies is where we store these innate skills, where we know how to use a compass or how to use a cell phone or how to do any of that. If you can learn how to use a cell phone, one of those smartphones that they have out today that texts and does all that fangled stuff, you too can learn how to use an astrolabe. You can go online and put in astrolabe DIY for your own little kit and print it out like every sixth grader does and have your own. But will you allow yourself to actually use it and learn what it is, so that the body, just like wearing a watch or just like have something that is part of its normal habit pattern, innately knows? Can you train yourself? Can you give yourself 4 moments a day where you pick up the astrolabe for 3 minutes and use the 4 functions on it to figure out what time of day it is instead of looking at your cell phone or watch? Can you get the skill level that says, wait, I think I know where I am in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. I finally figured out how to use it. Because once you have those skills, once you are in dream time, aware of your lucid dreaming, all of your parasympathetic skills become immediately available. This is why people who are massage therapists or energy healers are become powerful dream healers who become part of psychic networks where they're healing thousands or millions of others or healing the planet because their parasympathetic body has been a part of so many healings. Those innate talents come out. And with the astrolab, when you are in that dream space, in between the doorway to worlds, and you're silent and you don't know what to do, and you're in that moment of confusion, I'm dreaming or do I wake up? You go in your mind and you summon that simple power of the astrolab or the compass, or go North Pole, Aurora Borealis. You repeat that in your dreaming mind and allow the reality of the dream to shift and alchemize to your voice that's now an I am presence in no time, that it's awake and asleep simultaneously, sharing with the body. It is your own choice. Sovereignty works in the dream world just as much. Just like a baby that's first learning how to cry or figuring out its own fingers, in the dream world we go through that too. So by giving yourself the skill sets that you can take into the dream world. Another example is RC cars, RC airplanes. That skill set directly translates into moving into an X and Y axis in the dream world. Now, do video games do that? The answer is no, because there's too much programming in the video game with the three-dimensional concept that prevent us from understanding X and Y axis. But those shoot 'em up games, or some of the other video games like Mario and stuff. There's too much glitz and glam taking away from the ability to have X and Y because it's stuck in the thumbs and the fingers and not connected to the eyes as much as it should be.
That's really interesting, because could that affect the children's dream time then, playing those video games?
Oh yeah. Video games directly affect the dream world on many levels, and especially if they're in multiplayer online games like World of Warcraft. I mean, I'm not going to down those games. I've played them before. They can be quite fun. And at times, if you are in, let's say, a time in your life where that's your fun, cool, that's your entertainment. You're not watching TV, you're not out dealing drugs, whatever, good. But understand it can easily become addiction. And for some people, their whole life is online. I don't put that down. I do say get out, though. You do need energy outside. You need to be out there, and you need to have physical friends, as well as digital friends. The lifestyle that kids have when they grow up, if their whole life's behind that, you're having issues. There are things out there when it comes to video games, the worst of the worst stories. And there are other kids, by the time they're 12, they're done with it, or they're just too bored with the few games that they have. Then you get the ones that just can't stop. Well, that's ancestral haunting. That's direct haunting. That's something going on in that child's world that he can't connect to the reality. And he's going to go to this reality, maybe because his dream world is having issues. All of those things must be calculated and understood by the parents, their environment, and understanding why the child is going to the game. There might just be some spark of a person on the other side that they're empathic saying is, go here, go here. But that is the big lure of multiplayer games. The soul innately knows. The mind's just thinking about the game, but the soul's going, I can be this, 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 and that's the big energy trap behind multiplayer games like that. So kids that want to detox from games, get out in the world. In the old days, the 1800s, they had a little round metal thing with a stick that they pushed around. That was their video game. Look what we have today. I mean, can you imagine telling a kid today, here's your round barrel strap and a stick? Are they going to have fun with that? Are they going to do that all day and dream about that? No.
Does it detract from their creative side?
Absolutely. And then it comes to a point that it adds to their creative side, because they may want to build worlds in there. Mm-hmm. Let's say we'll use World of Warcraft again. Let's say in their mind they're doing the next Dragon Castle or doing the next adventure wherever they're going to take their game. Mm-hmm. Their choice. Is that bad? No. It's a phase of life where they're going to be creating something. It's what skill sets and bad habits they're getting out of it.
Right. Another question for you, Andrew, is, does a collective consciousness affect our dream time on a global scale?
Oh yeah. It's fully interwoven with everything that we are. So in that nature of that question, let's ask it a different way. So ask it, and I'm going to ask it a different way. Can you read it again?
I'll read it to you again, okay. Does a collective consciousness affect our dream time?
Does our collective consciousness? Earlier in the show, I was talking about collective and uncollective. Our collective consciousness, which is the ancient future selves in the ancient present now, 1 second in the future, interacting with the energies that we're creating, which is the uncollective conscious, where we have not come together, we are not a unity species, we are not in global dream time, and creates weather patterns that may rain in Oklahoma, have snow in Moscow, have a tornado in Thailand, or a tidal wave in Siam, so on and so forth. Those are the uncollective consciousness creating patterns for people to come together and resolve space or issues. The collective consciousness is trying to entrain those weather patterns to be much more muted, to be much more relaxed, to not have raging storms and class 5 hurricanes. The collective consciousness is trying to individually reverse engineer each bubble of reality so they have their own perfect weather pattern that doesn't affect the weather patterns of other bubbles of reality. So global dream time is unity consciousness, and it is disunity consciousness. There are those that must go into the disunity consciousness, into the uncollective conscious weather patterns, to begin to exert spirit force over the four winds, over the rains, over the seas, so that they once again can be in control of their own reality. Victor Schauberger, many of them talked about weather control. And we've seen organized devices that can do weather control, that can make it rain, make it shine, make us have clouds. We can make clouds disappear. We can make chemtrails disappear with them. Therefore, in our bubble of reality, we can have our own perfect weather pattern at all times. So global dream time, global dreaming, and collective consciousness and uncollective consciousness are all the equation that it takes to understand the awakening of the individual self and how the individual self may awaken on different scales. You may awaken in your own local dream time where you're dreaming in your local neighborhood with a few thousand or a few 100,000 people. You may be working at the global scale where the highest luminaries of our world in the North Pole and the South Pole have come together in an individual dream realm that is called the wind realm. And in the wind realm is all of the energies of the uncollective conscious and every individual uncollective consciousness being a wind spirit racing through the world, collecting energy, knowledge, and wisdom, and then creating rain and weather patterns that program our reality, because water is the key to understanding the power of the global dream time. And collective consciousness and uncollective consciousness, because water is weather, and we are 85% water, programmed by our own soul. And that water, what we take into our body, comes from rain that's stored in great underground aquifers or rivers or lakes that come from the weather pattern, that is also being part of the collective consciousness and uncollective consciousness simultaneously. And we get to make choices when we are using water. Which program of the water are we using? The collective conscious program or the uncollective conscious program?
So can we consciously affect our water in the glass then, right? So just before we go to drink our water, if we bless it or we put intent of healing.
You can do all of that and more. Let's look at those people that sleep on water beds.
Oh, right. I used to.
Okay? They are quite relaxing beds, but after a while they don't have the same support, so it took quite a bit of technology. Once people started sleeping on water like that again, they were able to share their energy with the water. The one problem with regular water beds is you are constantly in the same water, programming it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. So you must have water beds that are constantly emptied out and refilled, but that doesn't exactly make for good business in this world when you're constantly emptying and refilling 300 gallons of water on a fifth-floor studio. So water is like having extra hard drives. And those hard drives can be full of great and powerful images, so that when we go to sleep on that waterbed, we are absorbing our prayers through our sleep. Water is going to be the new beds. Have you ever heard of a term called aerogel?
No, I haven't.
It is a gel that was created by NASA in the late 1990s, and it's what gel shoes are made out of, the
Oh,
air gel shoes. Well,
mhm.
if you look at the basics of aerogel, it is so thin that if I had to have a little piece in my hand like this size, if I squeezed on it, it would be no resistance. But there would be space in between there that it can absorb water or hold moisture within itself. Water beds that are created with special types of aerogel will be the greatest way of sleeping. The aerogel itself can be programmed to retain good energy, and then the water can be given regular programs that make sure you don't hold on to dense energy when you're allowing your dreaming body to come out of your intestinal tract, just where your navel is, above and below your navel. We have all these little energy cords that come out and create like a big rose bush out of our stomach. And then one of the big roses opens up and the dreaming body comes out and it goes off and has its dream. And when it comes back, it goes back into that little rose bush concept and enters back in and goes through the intestinal tract that may have very dense energy in it because one hasn't detoxed or your ancestral haunting is there. And it goes back in through that filter. And each day we go to sleep and wake up, we're supposed to go through that process. As I said before, many people have skipped that process and just remote view the dream. When we sleep on water that's been prayed on over a long, long period of time, where you've given it your ceremonial focus, you could have intense moments where you're reconnected to your dreams. Intense moment of lovemaking with the person that's sharing that bed with you. Intense moments of release. Okay? There are many, many women who choose to have birth inside water. Because the baby is living inside water.
Yeah, my daughter had a water birth with her last child, and she found that was she had a very quick birth, and it was she loved it.
Mm-hmm. How
It
long
was
was her birth?
the midwives couldn't believe it, but by the time she climbed into it, I think she gave birth within 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's because her body was ready. It was
Yeah.
ready. It was so ready to have it, and the water triggered and allowed it to just happen.
Yeah, it was quick.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew, do we have time for a question like I'm getting myself confused here. Can we be controlled by anything in our dream time?
Yes. We can be controlled by our ancient past selves in polarity very easily in our dream world, as well as physical entities that are fourth dimensional with no physical bodies. Yes.
Okay.
I'll give a short thing. It can easily go dark, and I don't want to go dark. This has been such a fun show so far, but we'll reserve it for a dense energy question show. But here it goes. Entities exist all around you in all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universe. Many of them are good beings. Some of them are not. And you can't even give it a percentage, 80-20. It doesn't even work that way. Some beings just have to be both. That's just unfortunate. Until they change their light body and find sovereignty, they'll be simultaneously light and dark beings. And that's okay. As long as you protect your dream space by protecting your bed and make sure that when you go to sleep, you've given yourself your prayers and say you've earned the right for a full dream world connected, that you are not a slave, that you are not subject to conforming to what other beings tell you because they whisper into your mind, and in unawareness you are mimicking their words. So by taking control of oneself, we can prevent our dream world from being fed on. In some scenarios, like with high schools, you have these big cliques that form. Oftentimes, it's entities, ancestral entities, creating separation of density, and then ghost entities or multidimensional entities that are the feeders. Most ancestral haunters don't feed. They just create scenarios in which other things will feed off of you. So when it comes to dream haunting at the ancestral level, it's because you need to do offerings to the land. There is something in your karma that the land is going, you have serious issues, and for you to live here, you must find a way to balance the energy in the fields that you're living in. Otherwise, all of this energy is going to be continuously dumped on you. You're like this energetic sore in the land, and the land has no other choice but try to cover you up and cover you up because you're a sore and try to heal you. And sometimes that healing is just pounded and pounded on you like tough love because it wants you to identify the land that you live on. So many people that are in nightmares are ancestral nightmares because they just can't balance the land, or they don't have enough knowingness or enough wisdom in themselves to say, you know what, I can take an apple out of my pantry, cut it up, and go into my backyard and give it to the plants and say, ancestors, this is for you. This is my first chance, my first offering. I don't know what to do, but here, this is something to just relieve some of the pressure I'm going through. Okay? On other terms, when we're dealing with entities, multidimensional entities, physical or energetic entities that are feeders, they oftentimes are starting whisper campaigns in your mind long before you go to sleep. So as you're going to sleep and trying to enter the doorway between two worlds and have silence, you don't. You have those whispers. Oh, Danny's thinking about this. My ex-girlfriend, I wish I could see her. And she comes into your mind because the entity put a picture of you in her mind, and all of a sudden you're not really going to sleep. And then as you actually just enter sleep paralysis, that's where the being like a spider strikes and starts to siphon your energy as you're in sleep paralysis. And if your dreaming body little flower had opened up at that point, it's going to race back in and go, hey, I've got to protect myself. That's why some people set up watchers and entities innately so that doesn't happen. And other times they figure out through energy chess where your watchers are, or will target you literally in a dream realm of another place. You know, I've had many, many, many sessions where people have had horrible nightmares of abuse and torture from beings. That's because their dreaming body has actually been captured into a fake dream world. And yes, sovereignty still works in those dream worlds, but fear runs those worlds. Domination runs those worlds. The basis and foundation of the architectural reality is fear and the propagation of fear. And one awakes into those other worlds and sees those torturous scenarios. You don't have power. You only have fear. And until an I am presence of here makes it all the way over there and says, no, you cannot do this to me anymore, and you take back their power, your power they are using against you.
Right. Okay, Andrew, I know that just for myself, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers would really love a step-by-step protocol to take us into the dream time in a way that serves us and our growth and our evolution, and also the Earth.
Okay, so this will be the last question for the show. This will be a good one. People have heard me describe going to the North Pole Aurora Borealis dreaming, and when you can visualize that, well, so here's the step-by-step process to make this work. First thing first is you go, I want my dream world back. That means you must write down somewhere and put in an envelope that says, I have my dream world back. I have earned this right. I want you to mail it to yourself. And I want you to keep that envelope with a signed and dated in your own hand that I am taking back my dream world. And when I mean mail it to yourself, I actually want you to put it into a mailbox so it comes back to you with the stamp that says, it has that there. You're taking your dream world. You've put the system on notice. Now the next thing. Your bed. I advise people to flip their mattress every month. If you have one of those memory foam mattresses that you cannot flip, then what I advise you to do is to, when you finish sleeping every couple of weeks, you wake up, literally pull the mattress off the bed and hang it and push it against the wall. It may be unsightly, but it still gets the point done. It stops the energy chess from the normal positions that your body uses. Okay? So that's the next part, is your bed. With that bed and flipping the mattress, you make sure the chess can't be played against you. Now you play counter chess. You want your dream world. You know you've earned the right. And you know there may be things, whether it's your kid crying in the middle of the night innocently to come and help you, or them knocking on your door, or if it's the neighbor down the street or entities, whatever, you're saying this is my private dream world, and you are going to protect that space. So you have the four corners of your room, just like I've described the four corners of your house. If you live with other people who are very subjective to about this type of stuff, don't tell them. Just do the four corners of your room. Okay? That means you have four objects you're going to put in the corner. I recommend crystals. What kind? Black tourmaline, pink tourmaline, clear crystal quartz, rose quartz, turquoise, mica, just about anything. Anything that you can hold into your hand, all four of them at once, and begin to give them words that say, this is my space. When I dream, I choose to not have any influencing entities here. Only those that will speak to me in truth and perpetuity will show me their residual image innately, so I don't have to search through my memories if I might have ever known them in a dream world. And then the next thing you're going to do, you're going to place those stones there. And then you have a choice. Do I really want to go all the way, or is this just enough for me? Well, is this what I want to try for now? For those that want to go all the way, you look at your ceiling. And you're going to go purchase some string or yarn or something that has a little bit of tensile strength to it. And you are going to make a grid, like a tic-tac-toe out of string on your ceiling. And then want that grid to hang about 7 inches off the top of the ceiling. And then you're going to take a paper clip and you're going to hang something from that, like a piece of stone or a feather or something. You have many places that you want that grid roughly centered above your bed, just like when babies were looking up at those things hanging from them. If people want to get serious about it, you can easily get a crystal, get some super glue onto a paper clip, and with fishing string and a little bit more than $8 and some time, have your whole grid set above your bed and 4 stones in your corner. And you have now taken control of your space. Now that time you've realized you've taken control of your space, the next part of this step-by-step, what are you going to do as the I Am Presence now being who goes to sleep and wakes up every night in that bed? What are you going to do to keep that place spiritually clean? Are you going to smudge it? Are you going to actively clean up the room? Are you going to let stuff stay in your room before you take it to the trash? All of those make a difference. Dense energy in the room allows and creates dream worlds that have dense energy. If you haven't changed your sheets in a week, whatever. I mean, there are people that are like that they have to have their own scent when they sleep, that they can only change their sheet every 4 days. Okay? Know your habit patterns. Okay? The next thing is, step by step, you've owned it. Now what you do with it. So before you go to sleep, there are mantras you can do, there are images that you can create. One of those images I tell you is the North Pole Aurora Borealis. Maybe on that grid up there, you can hang a picture of the North Pole Aurora Borealis so you can see it. Okay? Or it can be on the ceiling and below the grid, or actually above the grid, pinned to the ceiling, and the grid's still there with stuff hanging on it. Your choice. You need to be able to relax there. Does it require music? No. Everyone's going to make a different choice of what it requires. It just requires the habit pattern of energy cleanliness and then the will to take it to the next level so that those things that you've done to give yourself the same safe dream place, you can have the dream place and earn it. So we're at that point where we're in our imagery mind looking at the North Pole Aurora Borealis. We're tired, we're ready, but we won't fall asleep because we're still meditating this and creating imagery, but we're really tired. Stop. Roll over. Go to sleep. Okay? You've created enough at that point. Then you let go. That is where your body then begins to trust the being of the past who's created the grid of the 4 corners, who has created the grid of string above you, who has put the North Pole Aurora Borealis on the ceiling. And then it becomes trust. And you cross the great precipice from awake to asleep. And in that first moment of dream time, am I awake? Am I asleep? Oh, wait, I'm witnessing a dream. I'm on this great and fun Disney roller coaster ride. I'm splashing in water, making a sandcastle. Oh, look at all these people come go by. I'm in a mall somewhere. When you're going like this in the dream, you're not in control. You are holding a leash, and there is your dreaming body pulling you through the dream world. There is where you can speak through the leash. Dreaming body, slow down. Whoa, slow down. I don't know what's going on here. I need to find where I am in time-space. Oh, I've learned how to use the astrolab, dreaming body. Wing, the world changes in the dream. Bodies aren't going body minds. You're in space, or you're on the earth. And in your hand is the astrolab that thousands and thousands of other versions of yourself have used millions of times before there were computers. That was the first hand-mind computer to get geolocation. That skill works in the dream world. What does it take in trust of the self to manifest your own directional skills in a safe room, in a safe environment that you've created? That's the great journey into the dream world. And when we awaken, that first 10 minutes is so vital, so critical, that we allow ourselves to remember, that we demand the dream world not go away in 10 minutes, but 2 hours later we still have full control of our dream, that we can go and remember that dream. Now, there have been many, many people that said, write your dreams down. Some people cannot write their dreams. As soon as they pick up a pen and paper, they're in Matrix. So record your voice. Have your cell phone. Turn it on. And if it disappears the second you hit record, that's because you didn't trust yourself enough. There's something missing in your space. But you can gain that back, gain that trust, by giving yourself more time and energy before you go to sleep, by empowering those 4 cornerstones of your room for an hour a day for 3 weeks straight, so that your body has some trust of yourself. Maybe cleaning up your room, or going up to the string up there and adoring it with some other things that can help you dream. There's all sorts of tools out there that we just must use. And when we use them with knowingness and trust of the future self who will may need to use these things. So after you've woken up and you've got that dream world, you've got that 10 minutes, you know where the 4 corners are, and you know it's on the ceiling. Can you go back to that dream? I'm sure every single person in this audience, before you had to go to school at 7 o'clock in the morning, you had a dream, and your mom came and woke you up, and you're like, I'm dreaming, let me go back to sleep. And she says, okay, go back to sleep and dream. And you did, and you finished the dream. Everyone's done that. You have the right to do that every morning you wake up. And the only thing that stops you is the program of the bodies. When you wake up in the morning, and let's say you're just unable to remember the dream, in that first 10 minutes, tell your body to stop. Say, you're not going to work now. Slow down, you're on break, you're still at sleep. This is where you can deprogram yourself. This is where you have control of the body. The body's like that racehorse, ready to burst out of the gates and go. But you're the rider. Tell it no. Give it some oats and a carrot. Tell it to slow down. Just like a kid, you show it the cookie, it stops. Okay? It's waiting for you to do that. And once you have that ability to know, you're deprogramming yourself, and then programming yourself for safety and health and wellness by protecting the 4 corners of your room, by having a grid over your bed, by putting salt under your neck and tailbone for those that really want to get into the deep sleeps. There's your step-by-step. Doesn't get any easier than that. The whole world can be changed in these last 8 minutes of speech.
That's wonderful, Andrew, because I know for myself, I've gone with the intent to want to go into dream time where I could go and do something more positive in my life. And I was just wondering, can you call forth your ancestors, your Dreamtime ancestors or protective?
Oh, yeah.
guide?
In one of the things that I have called the the essential teachings, it's where it sums up all the telling your story to the fire and the detox and stuff. And there's where I tell people to ask for a ancestral family reunion, a positive one. Now, we can do that, but that is a much more advanced skill where you must have cleared out your physical body and cleared out your spiritual body, have at least become adept in spiritual alchemy and spiritual hygiene before you go that far. Why? Because you want the experience, you want to remember the experience, and it takes a tremendous amount of energy to set up a Dreamtime family reunion. I tell people that after you've mastered the dream world and you've got some XY axis control in the dream world, go for your dream visitation, where you're going to ask that your ancestors, your greatest ancestors of light, the greatest teachers in your DNA lineage that are not ancestral haunters, come to your party. So that as you're going to sleep, in your mind, you are making your house ready to have a family reunion. Okay? And it's not just your own. It can be anywhere. There's the tables out there with the food. The beer is there. All of that stuff. You've got to think of the smells. Create that in your mind that you're home and you have family coming for a reunion. Okay? For those people that have lost loved ones this lifetime, the same process that you can have a visitation and a resolution dream from them. But when we know that there are ancestors from 200, 400, 800, 8 million years ago that can also come through in a form that isn't human, when we have ancestral reunions and we've invited them there and they come through that door and they may look like a bug, we're not afraid of them because we have invited that signature frequency to come and share a space with us so that we can learn who we are and we can exchange where we might want to go as beings in communion and union.
That's beautiful, Andrew, and I'm so grateful that you came forth with such a good step-by-step protocol, how to prepare your whole room. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank everyone very much. This has been a super, super special show. Coming up this Saturday, we're going to be having our League Q&A at 5 p.m. for those people that are part of the League of Consciousness Explorers, 5 p.m. this coming Saturday. I want to thank everybody for watching this show. You have a good day. Debbie, any last words?
No, just pleasant dreams to everybody and have fun creating.
We will create and create and create because our allies await for us in the dream world. Take it easy, everyone.